Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Gym Owners Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Stone. Over there's John Fairbanks. How we doing, John?
I'm doing excellent, Tyler. Happy New Year to you, sir.
Fucking New Year, guys. We are going to dive into some New Year's trends, the things that we have seen in the fitness industry over the years. And honestly, since 2020, I think a lot of things have changed in regards to the business of fitness and what happens in and around the new year. The post-holiday season. There used to be, John, what is the impression that everybody gets? What happens New Year's? Gyms are
everybody,
full.
it's right? Packed. Yep.
New Year's resolutioners, everybody is in, everybody's got a new commitment, a new thing. That is, I would say, in the gyms that I am around, the gyms that I've been in, the gym owners that we speak to all over the world, plus the ones that we work to directly, that has slowed. That trend is not as real, I don't think, as people think it is. And there's a couple reasons why. First, when are these memberships getting bought, right? People, you guys, let's be honest, are you guys out here just crushing sales fucking Christmas week?
Yeah, all the week.
Like new memberships, December. Are you getting tons of new leads on Christmas week? No. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, likely not a ton either. These are not huge influx there's not a big influx in inquiries and follow-ups. You will get signups, of course. It's people who don't have gym memberships, but I think that trend that people talk about is mostly just stagnant accounts where people are still paying, finally start showing up. That's most of it. People have been roped into a 24-hour gym, into a 1 or 2 year contract that they don't go to. This is the week that they start going. I don't see a massive jump in sales. I see a massive jump in remote programs, remote sales, inquiries to online and DIY stuff for sure. But I don't see a bunch of people coming in, loading up on new memberships near the first of the year.
And it depends. And I think where you really start to like thread the needle and start to split it out is the type of gym that you've got. Because I think that's where it's, you see, and what if you are, so I don't watch a lot of TV, but this is the time of year where like it's, all right, like football is on, things are happening. So I'll watch a little bit more because like the family's around or you have people over, you go to somebody's house and you can't go more than 1 or 2 ads without seeing an ad for Planet Fitness or for these juggernaut type gyms where they are going to see a massive influx of people that are going to come in January. Even Apple, right? They're running a new ad for their iWatch, whatever. And the whole idea is like trying to help someone stay on track because it gives you the updates or whatever on that wearable technology. So you don't fall into the trend of National Quitters Day on whatever day that is, February, whatever the fuck, where it's like, hey,
January 10th.
This is, yeah, it's like everyone's going to join and then everyone's going to fall off the wagon. But we realized very early on when we started working with gyms that were the boutique, mom and pop, your smaller gym, it's your gym. The goal ultimately is to get 200 members, maybe eventually one day. These aren't the 800,000 member spots. And they're like, well, there's not a whole bunch of people walking in. And so you almost, if you're not careful, you feel like we're fucking up or we're supposed to get this big boost. January is supposed to be a huge boost. And that's not the case.
When a gym casts a very wide net demographically, that's where I think you'll get this inherent boost, this big boost in flow that's going to come in. If you're a 24-hour gym, if your memberships are $50 or less, something like that, yes, you're going to, because those are people that are only discerning by budget, and also maybe people that aren't trying to, be that concerned about the budget as a whole, but they just know it's low commitment, right? It's the lowest, easiest barrier to entry. All they got to do is show up, give you the card, they put it on file, you get a key, off you go. Like, that's pretty easy, and they can come in and wander around the gym and feel lost for a couple of days and then stop going. That is, likely, I think that's where that trend comes from. But when we try to make those expectations out of smaller boutique gyms, it's just not true, because you can't just fully sing the song to, hey, New Year resolution. You do something different if you're a boutique gym. If you're not selling just access to a place to work out, and you are selling coaching, personal training, group classes, a specific training methodology, like that filters so many things down. I mean, strictly just the difference between CrossFit and a 24-hour gym. The amount of people that you can get to sign up, let's pretend the price was the same. would still be dramatically reduced for CrossFit as opposed to a 24-hour gym, simply because some people don't want that. They don't want to be around other people. They don't want to be coached. They don't want loud fucking techno music and a bunch of breathe hardy shit while they spaz around and try to hurt themselves, right? That's the impression that people get of this stuff. So there are certain factors that are going to reduce or approachability. And this time of year is mass appeal. This is the when you hear about back in entertainment back in like the 80s, 90s, right? Getting on TV changed, right? If you got on the Tonight Show and you were a band or whatever, like it was like, holy shit, everybody is going to be talking about this tomorrow, right? Did you see whatever at the halftime show at the Super Bowl? Like those are the types of things that everyone collectively comes in on. And it's a type of movement that you'd almost don't understand when you're dealing with the current state of things with the internet. Is that like this January thing for fitness is so-and-so going on Letterman, right? You go there and all of a sudden everybody, it's out there to everybody. And we don't get how much money can be made by some guy who had a TV show in the 90s for like 2 seasons. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that was huge. He was on TV. Huge. You know, they were talking about how much money James Franco made for just being like the Green Goblin's kid in those Spider-Man movies in residuals and shit. And you're like, fucking goddamn, you know, that some of that stuff when the appeal is as wide, right? 350 million Americans wide. Like that now, and that is what January, that's what New Year's resolutions are. New Year's resolutions is a 350 million person fucking brand that people understand. It's a concept everybody gets, but where are they going to be moved towards, right? They're going to go and they're probably going to start buying more salads. Like, let's just dumb this all down. I'm going to buy more salads. I'm going to, maybe a friend of mine sells supplements and fit teas and fuck whatever. I got a gym membership. I'm going to go walk on the treadmill for 11 minutes and then leave. You know, but that's kind of what the most approachable version of this stuff is when the reach of this concept is so vast. CrossFit, not near as popular and near as known in people's minds as New Year, New You. You know what I mean?
Well, and what we always talk about is the idea of like the greatest reach. What is the lowest barrier of entry? And when you're talking about this reach, if it's going to go, like you said, say 350 million people wide, the people that are going to be making resolutions, for the most part, where it's, I got to get to the gym, or I got to start thinking about my health, or I got to start doing these things. These are those moments, these flash in a pan opportunities where you're talking about people that may have been too far away, that are your lowest, like the lowest possible option, where they're going to maybe go to the gym for the first time or for the first time in a while. And when they're going to do that, they're only going to be looking at that lowest cost. That's why you're not going to see, if you're a spot that's $100 or above for your membership, the odds that you're going to see a massive influx of people that are brand new wanting to step foot and put that kind of money down, your percentages will always be lower. So you're better off if you anticipate that you know that you have this big influx over the next 4 weeks. A bunch of people are going to be thinking about the gym, their health. They've just eaten like shit. They've given themselves like a hall pass for the last 2 months to just pig the fuck out. Because I can't tell you how many people have reached out and they're like, well, I need to get, I just got back from the doctor and they said, my A1C is too high and this is too high. And I got to get my shit under control. I'm thinking about doing something after the holidays. Like they're all ready. You know what I mean? They're all ready. So that's kind of that, but that is, so we can say whatever, we all know how we truly feel about that. But at the end of the day, that is going to be the majority of the people, which is why the $10, $15 a month memberships, they're going to balloon up, because it's that same risk we all know to be true. When someone comes and talks to us and they've mentally checked the box, well, I've talked about fitness, I've talked about losing weight, so I feel a little bit better about it. It's like a $15 a month membership is like, hey, I've done the thing. I've taken a step toward in the right direction. But you got to anticipate then then what do you have for those people? And what are you going to do in February for all the people that realized the $15 a month membership really isn't cutting it? And this is kind of them starting their first fitness journey for a lot of people, as far as this lifelong journey.
And therein lies the real opportunity.
Exactly.
It's February, right? January's going to be, people are going to go where they are. Much like you don't expect to sell a shitload of stuff between November and Christmas because people are always deferring to the next thing. People's January impressions are going to take them wherever they go. And you can definitely reap the rewards of some of this. But by the end, come February, when people maybe given up, their commitment has waned. Know that those that have chosen to make a low level investment, a low level of commitment, a low level of financial investment into their fitness during this year, between January and February, when that doesn't pay off, they're not looking to invest even less. They will either detach from it completely, or they are ready to go, fuck, I need more help. I need more. I'm willing to spend more. So just know that is actually a moment for them all to upgrade, not for you to go, well, fuck. This ends up being a situation, though, when people are tied in. There's a lot of different like archetypes that end up falling out of this here, right? So if in the month of January, you're going to have plenty of people that are going to go to some other gym, some $10 thing, and they're stuck in a fucking 2-year contract, right? Well, at $11 a month, I promise, if you're going to look for personal training or nutrition coaching, like that $10 a month or whatever is a drop in the bucket, right? So when they're going to level up commitment, if they're really that worried about that $10 a month, right? Now, the other thing is that does give you an opportunity to sell. You can either upsell into out of somebody else's gym, essentially. You're going to continue to market your services. You need to still be the lighthouse. You got to be the voice of fucking reason. And don't be catty. Don't do the fucking New Year's people. They're all going to go away. Don't do that. You do have to be supportive. But I do think that your DIY workout programs, especially and ones that are coupled with nutrition or weight loss diet programs, remote online stuff is actually very easy for you to sell to those people. They can bolt it on to wherever they are and what they're doing. So I do believe that the month of January is the time for you to try to like really hustle those, and don't be shocked if people aren't spending a few $100 for that product when they've just went and committed to a year in the gym. But once they realize they're not going to stick to that commitment in the gym, they're going to pivot. That's why you need to constantly be singing that song, and then it's all going to come together eventually for them. But you can't just kind of turn this stuff on in the end. And you could if you wanted to start throwing a bunch of money at ads in the end. But I think it's better that you be consistent during this time. I think it's also very important. People you do have that have been working with you in December, January, like you need to get them results. I also think it's a great idea for content marketing in the meantime. Is it like, my program, my base one's like 5 weeks of like nutrition and workout focused. But when my guys get done, immediately someone sees midway through January that the guy who started with me in December is down 35 pounds already. And January commitment fella hasn't done fuck all. Well, he knows who's there for him when he's ready to actually make the change. And that's the thing, is we do need to be consistent at all of the things that we normally have to do. And we don't need to make a completely separate push. That separate push, you can leave it to the sharks who are out there trying to get 3, 4, 5,000 people to spend $10 a month.
Well, and they're going to do the heavy lifting for you. So again, if you don't try and, you can good guy your way through this particular time period over the next 8 weeks, where you're not going to get the people, unless you have a $15 a month option, you're not going to get them. So you just know then there are going to be a lot of people in your local area that are all going to do that. And you know what? Fucking awesome. Because that means that you had a bunch of people that weren't doing it. They weren't doing it at all. Or they had done it for a little bit. They fell off the wagon. They're feeling reinvigorated. They got themselves some New Year's resolutions and they're going to go. But you know the problem that they're going to have, which is they don't know what they're fucking doing. So you can good guy that all the way, which is, hey, I want you going to the gym. You don't need to be coming to my gym. And I felt like, Dylan did a really good job out of Missouri, where he was on one of his episodes. He was on with us. He shared how a lot of the customers that he had, the clients that he served, he was doing programming for them at other gyms.
And diet stuff.
Yeah, because he was a personal trainer at another spot, but it didn't matter. Other people worked out elsewhere or in other states. And so he programmed for them. But the people that were local, when he finally took the jump and left his 24-hour fitness spot that he was just a personal trainer at, and when he opened his own spot, he was still programming for people at other gyms. He was able to eventually parlay that into having them, well, just come and be a member here. In fact, I felt like he had said this. If he didn't, then we're going to go with it. Either way, going to honor whatever they were paying at their other spot. We'll just come over here. And instead of me programming for you to be over there, but if he had kind of big guyed it and was a dick about it and was like, well, I'm not really going to program for anyone that's not at my facility. You lose those leads.
Yeah.
And he loses all those months of having programs. So if you know people are going to be there, you kind of you already know the problem that they're going to have before they know it, before they realize they have that problem. So you immediately can take advantage of that opportunity, which is, hey, I know you all are going to be here. Let me help you know where you're going. Because I promise you, Planet Fitness is not going to offer it.
No,
they don't have it.
Care. They just don't care either. It's not on their thing. The clients, the success of their clients is not it's not systemically a part of their business. It's just not anything that their system is geared towards. That's it. It's only entry. Now, I want to touch on something else with this because I think there's a great opportunity here and a good lesson to be learned as well. For personal trainers, this is the time of year when, as a personal trainer, I believe if you are an independent personal trainer, if you are a personal trainer, I believe you should be independent. You need to negotiate your independence. You need to hang on to that, cherish that. Because a lot of gyms do fail and suck. Don't do good jobs at getting clients, helping clients become successful. They don't do a great job at even like letting anyone know they give a shit, right? There's a lot of gyms that systems top to bottom like are just obviously not that good, right? As far as like empathy towards the customer, they're just about the transaction. And if you are a personal trainer, this is a great opportunity for you to make sure that you can go anywhere, coach anywhere. You need to have good relationships with many places where you can coach people. I think that's extremely important. There's nothing. Listen, if you want to have an exclusive deal with a place, you better be part-time, right? And you're just gonna. That's one. You don't got to figure anything else out. But for the sake of your career as a personal trainer, you cannot be the trainer at franchise, the trainer at this spot. You cannot be known as that because that will fucking bury you when that place ends up subverting their own reputation and doing a shit job. You know, I know there's coaches that are listening to this too that I get with regularly that like they coach out of another facility, but that facility has number one most chronic problem I see in gyms, which is nobody gets any results ever. It's just a place where people go there and exercise, and it's a little social thing, but all the people get fatter or more out of shape or at best maintain for years. The coaches and staff essentially are the main owners, don't even care about any of the clients at all. There's complete disengagement from client success and the actual mission of the gym. They're not even woven in there at all. This is just like a place, right? And so for those coaches that are just personal training there, sometimes it's like, yo, you cannot fucking hitch your wagon to this horse because you are now stuck in this spot. Look at the opportunities you're missing by only having to play these games and by only having to pad the wallets for people that are like disinterested, unapathetic scumbags who don't belong in the industry. Right? That's kind of the issue. There's a lot of fitness owners, from 24-hour gyms to functional fitness gyms to boutique gyms. These people shouldn't really be in this industry. Someone either just wrote a check or something was established for them, and then they're just sitting in there like, I guess I can't fucking do anything else. I'm incapable of anything else. So they stay in this job. Okay. But as a trainer, you got to be above that because you need to know as you get better in your career, you're going to realize that the people in the positions that you used to maybe look up to, like, these guys suck. Like, oh, fuck. And you will lap every single one of them as long as you continue to actually care and actually hustle. Those two things, like care for your clients and actually try to make a real career out of this, and you'll fucking bury them. And likely, if you look at it objectively right now, a lot of these trainers that do care, coaches that do give a shit, are so far beyond what the gym owners that they're working under are. Right? It's the real thing is you will lap them and you will realize that these people are very unimpressive. And you cannot have your brand be attached to something that is consistently disappointing and constantly unimpressive. It's the biggest. I do this with my stuff. I don't coach. I coach out of some places. I am not the coach at fucking anywhere. I tell any client that I have at any gym that I'm working with them at too. Like, if anything about this spot you don't like, if you think you're getting done dirty on your contracts, if you don't like the vibe here when we're here at this time, if somebody else here is a pain in the ass, if you think the floors are too dirty for your liking, or the fucking owner or staff or other coaches rub you wrong, My only loyalty is my client. That is it. Okay, that's where the line drops. And them and we will fucking leave. I will go to the other spot or the other spot that I have a good relationship with and we will uproot. I don't got to feed anybody. I'm only worried about myself and my clients because that is the only way that this is going to work in the long run. Because if I am the coach that's there while this gym or whatever other gyms can continue to be like, just like kind of shitty, not that good, or not that interested, or just low effort altogether, you're like, well, I'm not going to be the fucking highest effort guy at a real fucking low effort place, dude. It's like buying houses. You want the cheapest. You want the worst house in the nicest neighborhood, not the nicest house in the worst in a bad neighborhood. And that's what happens when you're a coach that cares and you're surrounded by people that aren't, is you'll know real quick. And by the way, there ain't a good, in my area here, there ain't a good gym business. There's not a single one, including the ones I work at. That's true. Which is the way it is. They're all fine, but none of them are on a mission. None of them give a fuck. It's very important that people understand this. Like, if you're the one that cares, be better than them. Be better than them. And you need to be separate from them. You can have relationships, but you must be separate from them. That separation is going to keep you alive when everybody else thinks back 10 years from now about, oh, Jesus, them fucking scumbags. You know, everybody finds out about what those type of people are really about. They're like, God damn.
But it's important that they can separate you from that. You know what I mean? And what's nice is this can get emotional because if you're a gym owner, this should make you step back and say, because it's mathematical. You don't have to allow this to be emotional whatsoever. And you kind of gave some of those key elements of like, all right, if I'm going to step back, being unemotional about this, and I'm going to look at either I'm a personal trainer, is the spot I'm working out of, how do they match up on the empathy to apathy ratio? Where are they at? Do they care? Are they making effort? Because you can look at this and you can just subjectively step back and look at, is the gym making it? What are they actually attempting to do right now? Are they trying to get everybody in for super, super cheap? Are they talking to people about nutrition? Because right now that's the most important thing and that is on everybody's mind. What are the things that they're trying to hustle? Are they trying to hustle at all? Are they putting energy towards it? Are they trying to level up to bring people in to help you? Like, this is one of the things that I always find for personal trainers, where it is, if you have hitched your wagon to a spot, therefore you are now connected to them. And the whole, why does a personal trainer work for a gym full time anyway? Because they can give me leads, right? The idea is if it is something that goes beyond, does it go beyond that you're just scanning people in and you're wiping off machines and you're helping clean the bathroom and do some of just the basic administrative stuff? Is the gym doing what's necessary to put people in front of you for you to personal train? And if they're not, then stop relying on them to do that. And that's, again, goes back to where you're always talking about, Tyler, which is if you are not a freelance personal trainer yet, and you're not a headhunter yourself yet, and you're not, at that assassin level, it's time for you to start leveling up, because otherwise the apathetic gym owner that you have, I mean, Tyler, how many screenshots? I feel like I'm sending you 1 to 2 screenshots a month of gyms that we just follow, just from like third party, just watching gyms in general that are closing. So where do you think this ends? Take the thought exercise all the way to its conclusion, which is a gym owner and a gym that appears to be apathetic towards its members, that only is dedicated to getting people in to use the equipment. It's essentially a rent to own type situation where people can come in and just be there, but really not have any other conversations. Where does that ultimately end? It does end with them closing. It ends with people eventually realizing they're not getting the results. They're not super interested in just having it be an adult daycare center. And then they will look elsewhere. They will find, because when they do want to, and especially, and it's always so silly too, because the people that want to get the results, they will pay for it.
Correct. And I think the point you're making is really good too, is one, this is aligned with client results, which is, like we say, is the centerpiece of the thing. You got to care. Your product needs to be good. Your coaching needs to be good, but it needs to be about getting people something that they showed up to accomplish. A lot of these gyms are not even able to prove this via their social media at all. They don't seem to be. Maybe they're doing a great job otherwise fucking getting people into their business, but I doubt it. There's a gym that we had kind of touched on a little bit in the past. I won't go into any details here, but like, the other thing is the effort in regards to marketing. If you're dependent on them for getting you new people, but they can't even possibly help shine any light on the successes you are getting your client or spotlight you as somebody that people can do business with, they're not making any effort there. That's a red flag. Now, you should be able to carry your own water. I do believe that. And that's why I always teach, I think as a personal trainer, you should be an entrepreneur first, right? And you're just simply working through these places. But if you do start out as a gym, you're coaching some classes and you get a couple one-on-one clients, that's great. But then you look at one of these gyms here and you go, well, how are they supposed to keep me fed when, let me look here, 24 weeks since their last social media post. When's the one before that? February. When's the one before that? 98 weeks ago.
No.
Right? These are some of these gyms just kind of fucking exist, and the gym owners don't really give a shit. And they're allowed to kind of make a little bit of money from the few people that are loyal to them, and they just live in mediocrity. A lot of gym owners that are coached, that are essentially either owned only by people who don't coach, mediocre as fuck. Okay. A lot of gyms that are owned by people who also do most of the coaching, those gyms tend to also be mediocre as fuck because there's zero effort. There's no effort in the marketing because they just go, oh, I coach, I do the work. I don't want to do all the other development stuff. But since I got enough people who are loyal enough to me to come in, whether they get results or not, I can make myself my $1,000 a month, and I don't have to do any other real grown-up stuff and put on real pants. I just wear sweatpants and go to that ends up being the life on kind of either side of it, whether it's just investment only, a very cold investment only gym, or it is literally owner operated. There is still a lot of room for mediocrity to fucking fold into there, which is they'll just settle into whatever kind of is because they are afraid of the push that it takes to be great. And this is also why those people are not that great at getting people great transformational results. Okay, because they are fucking terrified themselves to get even slightly better at the things that they do, coaching, selling, as being a business owner. Okay, you see a lot of people in their own way, self-sabotaging in business because they're just afraid of the next thing. They're afraid they can't really be that guy. And it's the same shit if you actually coach enough people through transformation stuff. It's the same shit. So until you can work with it on yourself, you're going to be fucking have a real hard time identifying and calling people out when they are in their own fucking way too, which is why a lot of these people's client results, their client progress from year to year is mediocre. And that's being really, really, really generous.
But it's most of the gym owners that we've interacted with over the years.
Yeah, I've talked a lot of shit about gym owners here that suck.
We do,
I just need you to not be one of them. That's what I'm saying is if you're here, you're better.
And that's my point is though, it's why is it this way? Why and probably you're driving towards this, Tyler, which is this idea where most of the gym owners that we interact with, they were a coach. A lot of times they were a coach in that spot. They either stayed in that particular so let's say it's CrossFit. You were a level 1, you were a CrossFit coach, you wanted to do more, you started to grow, you wanted to have your own spot. And then eventually you have your own spot. The problem is that all of your background and all of your experience is being a CrossFit coach. And this is going to seem, it's a blanket statement. You got to understand where we're coming from, which is then all you did was run those classes. So all you did was you did the CrossFit coach thing, which a lot of times is a lot of community and a lot of, you're not really focused on these individual people getting specific results, right? So now you become a gym owner. Well, already fundamentally from your coaching style and your coaching experience, results were never first and foremost. That's not how you were taught. So you didn't run your coaching style that way. And now you become the gym owner. So now you're going to run that gym the same way, which is just people show up, they pay, they show up every month, they show up to the classes, and it's super fun. And we do a Zumba class or whatever the fuck it's going to be. And we're never having the conversation about results. And the worst part is, Tyler, you actually have success. These gyms actually are successful because if you're in these little communities where you may be the only game in town, you can afford to kind of just do the bare fucking minimum because there's not a lot of competition. But mark my words, for 2025, we're going to make predictions. All that money, all that big franchise money, as we see these gyms close and we see it become even more sparse, you're going to have your larger franchises that are going to identify opportunity because you have all this growth that's starting to come into these, especially like where I'm at in a rural community. We have massive growth. All of these huge land developers are coming in and they're building massive communities. All these like quick, like they're going to build a fucking house every 45 days type communities that are being built. And what's going to happen is all of these local boutique mom and pop spots are going to realize, fuck, Planet Fitness is opening literally in the same strip mall as me now. And what's going to happen is what you used to be able to do to just get by, you're going to get fucking destroyed because you aren't doing the most important part, which is actually giving a fuck about people. And it's pretty straightforward. It's like, how do you go toe to toe? And that might be another episode that we can do, because we've alluded to this before and we've warned you all as our listeners before, which is the juggernauts that can come in and throw $5 million down over the next 5 years just on their marketing.
Yep.
They will show up in your community. They will show up in your town, and it's going to expose you if you've just been operating business in just the lowest, I don't know, I don't care. And,
exactly.
And maybe
it is about client acquisition as well. I push hard on the like empathy side and actually being good at product fucking working and shit. Like that's obviously kind of one of our centerpieces that we teach here. But also literally like, yeah, you need to still work at the skill of acquiring new clients, dude. I don't know what to say. Like there's plenty of pathways to that, networking. There's plenty of ways you can do that too that will separate you, make you more appealing than just some giant juggernaut, very visible brand that everybody knows dropping in. But one of the franchises we looked into a while back, I don't remember which one it was, but it's like they have to spend like $20,000 or $30,000 a month on like Facebook ads for the first like 6 months, and then it scales down to like 5,000 or 10,000 per month for the first. There are, John, we don't work with any gyms that spend anywhere near that ever at all on it, and that's probably fine for the sake of not just throwing money at a problem that there's, if you don't have the money, you're fucked. And so, but just know that they're going to wash out anything you're saying, that amount of volume. You're going to get drowned out in the mix when it comes to regular, normal people that are looking at just getting started. It's going to be the only sound they hear. And they may get annoyed by it, but it's going to be right fucking in front of them. And I think that's a big, huge problem, is that these gyms that are, even if you kind of care, but you got enough clients to where the lights are on and you kind of get paid okay, you've just settled into that comfortable, but not quite too comfortable setting where you're not sure if this is going to work for a long enough time for you to really be able to retire on this. And at some point, what are you going to do? You're not able to save much money. You're in that weird little limbo stage that a ton of gym owners are in. And they're just kind of like being, what's the word? Ignorant, willfully ignorant to that impending situation. They sit in this spot because it works right now. There is no competition. And someone's gonna come in and fucking outspend you. Like way outspend you. A lot of these gyms, especially, CrossFit gyms that popped up, and a lot of these smaller boutique gyms, these gyms get bought up, snatched up, put in for $50,000 worth of equipment. Just snatch up, get a lease, and you're fucking good to go. You're an operating business. You bought a logo and you got some insurance. Here we go, right? And good for you, because it worked when CrossFit was moving up, and there was a new market for a lot of these boutique gyms. That got you up and running, and then but you can't just sit. This is the thing we see with a lot of gym owners is opening, which should normally be the starting point, ends up being everybody's finish line. They're like, haha, I've accomplished it. I am gym owner. I am now gym guy. I have a gym. And as a coach, you like look up to that moment. I think a lot of gym owners treat that like their first time, stepping up to the plate in a Major League Baseball game. Just at bat, big leagues now. Hell yeah. And it's like, yeah, well, guess what? Go fucking strike out every goddamn time and see how long you're in this fucking league, dude. Like at some point, people are out here trying to beat you at the thing that you're doing. And when they actually show up, you're fucked if you didn't get good at this other stuff. And if you've been complacent, not only in client success, but also in like lead client acquisition, you're going to eat a colossal plate of shit as soon as anybody comes around being basically showing that those are things they even care about. John, there's not a gym area that that has posted anything about like at all like, hey, we'd like you to come do business with us. Seems fucking like pretty simple, but there's just none of this. And I know that social media is not the only way to acquire leads, but that's pretty fucking alarming when viewed through the lens of the initial sniff test that most new clients are going to do, which is we're going to poke around. What's your website look like? They don't really have one. That's fine. Gyms don't need websites. It's Instagram? What's their Facebook look like? I haven't posted anything in 98 weeks. What does that seem like? A gym that's fucking like into what they do?
Or open?
Or open? Christ. It's infuriating. So I just, this is just me ranting a lot on people and things that suck, but like, you gotta know that you might think you're doing something else, right? You might think that, I got a good loyal base of customers and I get some good referrals, and that's cool. But know that that's not going to work forever. That's what I mean. It's like, I'm not accusing you of truly being lazy if you just barely marketing yourself on social. That's fine, except someday there's going to be some levers that you're going to actually need to pull, because there's going to be some other sharks in the water, and you are not fucking prepared for that because you haven't gotten any good at it. If you had to play a basketball game, it was life or death whether or not you won, right?
Like Snake Plissken.
You're just not fucking practicing basketball. You're not shooting a shot at all between now and then. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Same concept I tell people about fighting. You know what I mean? It's like, if you never trained to fight, you're going to get fucking murdered by someone who does. What are you talking about? In the grand scheme of things, if this mattered, there is a lot of things in learning and trial and error and skills that need to be developed for you to be able to market, build systems for marketing, to be able to craft appealing copy or get the right people in place to handle this stuff for you. Like, your business has to grow into a place where people can actually get these jobs done and get people lined up to join your business, to do business with you, to give you money, to get folded into your network so you can actually grow. And just ignoring that as a skill set because things are kind of working right now, fuck, dude, you're buried. You're already dead.
And maybe it's just the way I'm thinking about how we're talking about this, but it's taking a prepper mindset. Yes. Like, if you like the way the preppers, right, is like, shit will hit the fan. Now, I don't know if we need to be shitting into a man-made lake that's in our backyard and then having trout eat that shit, and then we can eat the trout and having.
Seems like a lot,
but
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to go that far, but at the same time, it is, if you take a prepper mindset, which is shit will hit the fan. Are you ready for when it does? Do you have the skill set? Do you know what to do? Do you know how to be able to get water? Do you know how to be able to get food? Do you know how to be able to, do you know how to do some of these fundamental things that keeps you alive and your family alive?
Armed and skilled enough to go take those things from the next guy, right?
Absolutely.
Somehow, some way. What's your fucking plan? What is your plan? And resting on your laurels and doing nothing is not it.
And I think having a plan is what's important. And this gets us back to kind of the start of the episode, which is, this is a unique opportunity to where if you don't have the skill set when it comes to, again, the topic we talk about a lot, but it's really relevant right now, especially for all of you in the next 8 weeks. Do you have anything to sell anyone that is the lowest barrier? It's the lowest bar. Do you have, and what we oftentimes, right, is the ultimate downsell, which is, do you have a nutrition product that you can sell, that you can put in front of someone, whether it is programming that they can do on their own DIY, while these people are going to they're going to buy wearables, they're going to buy new exercise equipment for their homes, they're going to buy new outfits, they're going to buy whatever, all those things that are going to be the reason why this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. You're going to see a lot of Peloton ads. You're going to see a lot of all those things. My wife, again, we don't watch a lot of TV, but she's like, does this shit really still work? I mean, these companies are selling all of this bullshit, some new pair of pants that now you can fucking have these twisties, and it has all this fucking metal cable throughout the pants that allows you to feel tighter and stronger to go fucking hike Mount Everest. She's like, how the fuck, like, is this? And yes, it's still working. Of course it is. That's why we continue to get fatter and fatter, and we continue to spend more and more money on the health and fitness industry. And it's, because it's working. But we know that to be true. So do you have something to put in front of those people that are going to want to be able to buy it? That's a skill set that either you have or you don't. So take advantage, use it as an opportunity. And there's going to be seasonal and fluid opportunities of the ebbs and flows that happen over a calendar year where you can work on certain things at certain times. So this is the time. You got 8 weeks to say, how am I building my, however you want to think about it, your go bag, your bug out bag, how are you going to build your skill set to handle when the problem will come? Because it will. And either you will have the skills to be able to handle when that new franchise is going to open up, that literally is going to do the same shit that you do, but better with more money. And if you have not been leveling up on building partnerships in your community, having some type of a social approach, having people be aware of what types of results you're getting your people, everything that we kind of put of that results first action plan, which is there's the reason why that's the foundation and the fundamentals of that you can do as a personal trainer or a gym owner, because what that is doing is that it's building a really firm foundation of skills and skill sets that will get you ready to be able to do the doing when it's necessary, because it's still going to be a fight. And I think that's what's so silly. That's what gets silly, is just because you're prepared and you have the skills. Mean
you're going to fucking win either, by the way.
No, now's the time to go. Yeah. But if you don't have the skills and you still have to fight, it's just like you said, Tyler. If we now need to be in a street fight, I don't have those skills. I'm still big and strong. And I did a little bit of jujitsu like a decade ago. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I won't have the skill set to do that. But it doesn't change the fact that if you do, you have those skills, you're still going to have to strangle the motherfucker. You're still going to have to go through the fight.
Yeah. Now, what do I want to get on? So with this idea, right, we still need to, you have to get good at this, because most gyms that close, there's a couple of reasons. Mostly money, right? Because and the other would be like burnout. Someone's not really interested. Owners relocate. It's hard to sell. But a lot of those things, like, if you relocate or you decide to pivot, it's likely, listen, if you were making just a fuckload of money doing the thing that you love, you likely wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to go get a factory job at some other town, right? It's not likely going to happen. If your gym was making a fuckload of money and had really good systems in place, likely that gym wouldn't close when you needed to move away. You'd be able to sell it to someone who would actually want to buy it because it actually makes money. Okay. So for whatever reasons, a gym owner will part ways with his gym. The reason the gym will close either under their ownership or because nobody else wants to buy it, or the next guy is because there's not enough fucking money in this. Why did all these gyms close during COVID? Okay. There's a lot of reasons. However, I'm going to guess a lot of it is because those gyms weren't ready. They were in no position to operate for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months without any revenue. Okay. It seems pretty obvious, right? That's a problem for every business. It should be a problem for your business if you are forced to close for 6 months. Okay. Can't make any money. I totally get that that's going to be a problem. But you have had whatever amount of time you've been open to try to make sure that you're good at earning money so that whatever does fucking happen, you have a little bit of a cushion. And we saw in that moment how many gyms run by the seat of their fucking pants month to month, just barely fucking getting by. And that's because you're choosing not to be resilient. You're choosing not to get good enough at these things because the getting is good enough right fucking now. And it's okay. It's going to be fine. I'm okay. I make a little bit of a living. I don't have to work too hard. It's okay. It's a nice little thing. Well, that's a great concept if it's fucking passive income. Okay. It doesn't fucking work if your actual constant livelihood requires it. So this is what happened when COVID happened, is a lot of gyms had fucking no money to even pay 1 month's fucking heat bill or rent if the fucking revenue stopped. Okay. Now, should you have to be able to float when daddy government comes and close you down? Is that a situation you should be in? No. Did you have any control over it? No. Next time, will you? Probably. Set some buildings on fire next time they try to close your business because of the bird flu or whatever this next time. Like arson. Arson is the answer, usually. Arson and fear and threats. Okay. This is how you actually make sure that doesn't happen again. But it'd be good if you had some money. Okay. Just got to have a little bit of fucking money sitting around. And how are you going to do that? Well, stop being complacent with the amount of money you have. Saying it's good enough. It's okay. But yeah, it's fine. just okay. The lights are on. It's all wonderful. That level of like just being passive in it will get you eaten buck alive when someone comes in hungry. Okay. When a business comes in knocking and they're hungry, you're going to get stomped. So figure it the fuck out, man. I don't know what to say. This is your time, though. This is the time because you have a lot of people looking. You can test systems, you can run systems, you can try new ideas, you can try new concepts, try a new product, try this or that, try anything. Fucking try. That's all I mean. And it shouldn't, I don't know. That's the speech. Fucking, I still, when I see gym owners, this is still the one thing I wish out of more of them was that they'd try harder, care more, try harder. This is like, because if you're listening and you're like, I do care, I try, then good, you're one of the good ones. Because I am out there, and we have been in a lot of places, and there are great gym owners out in this world. But I don't speak to them all that much as far as like on this podcast because there's more problems than there are fucking wonderful examples. So I think you need to try harder. If you've come this far and you've listened to us bitch for the last 46 minutes, right? That's all I want. I want effort, and it's not just more work for more work's sake, and it's not about being a martyr. This is trying for your sake. Like, get good at selling, get resilient, build some resiliency and some redundancy into your business so that you can survive next time anything happens. Someone opens up next door and says, we're free, and we got 30,000 square feet. We're free for the first year. You're fucked for everybody who's not going to be a discerning customer and wants specifically your product. You're screwed. You're never going to get any of those people, at least not for a year. So remember that. Okay, you need to be better because that moment, or a moment very fucking closer to that than you think, is coming in almost every market.
And I give you credit, Tyler, for being trusting. If someone says that they try and that they care and that they're one of the good ones, my very first question would be: is if you're a gym owner?
I don't, John. I was just being nice. I was only being nice. I don't trust what any of the
but because this is my next question, because it is my next question is good. I'm glad that you care and I'm glad that you try. Tell me exactly what you've been trying. What's the thing you're working on right now?
Yeah, when I pull up a gym that's trying, John. They're struggling. They got, nobody's working full time there. They got classes. They barely operate, and they've posted essentially 2 times in the last 2 years.
So for me,
is that trying?
right?
Is that trying? Those are people that care. By the way, that care. Pretend to care. That's not caring. That's no effort, man. That's I wish I wasn't fat, but I'm not going to change any of the things that I eat. That's fucking nuts. And if you have a mission in fitness and a mission in health and a mission in your community, getting people involved in fitness and health and getting them results should be a fucking part of that mission, man. I don't fucking know. It's nuts to me, the lack of effort that I see. And then when these people come knocking and want help because they need money, it makes me crazy. I'm at a point now too when these types of people come to us and I look back, guys, if you haven't posted on any of your social media in 2 years, go somewhere else. Go to gym lunch and just pay money to run it. I don't know. If you come to me then and you decided to care now, holy shit. Like it's almost too far back for you to like, what the fuck have you been doing? That's a thing that I have almost, I don't care if they're listening to this one because they don't do any business with us at all. But there was a gym that came to us one time. It was like, really like, yeah, I really know my thing around. I know my way around the market. We used to have real market. We kind of scaled back our marketing strategies a little bit. I looked back and they posted twice in 4 years. They'd moved locations somewhere in there too and didn't even post an announcement about the new location. Like I just knew that there was an address change. Like you couldn't even, what a great opportunity to do a grand reopening or build some sort of hype to do nothing. And I was like, what do you mean you scaled back your marketing? Sounds to me like you quit doing anything. And then you come in wanting like just more money. Oh, I need to earn more money. I bet. I don't know what to say. Show up. Fuck. I don't know. This has been our negative New Year's fucking rant.
Negative New Year's 2025.
New Year's.
No, what it is we cannot allow you to continue to move forward being ignorant to what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Like if you're making these mistakes and maybe you just need to kind of be woken up to it, but you got to be honest. And this is one of those things a lot of times where you're so busy because this is the truth. If you're a solopreneur and you're doing these things, you are busy. But this is one of those things where you are busy being busy. And guess what? If you took the leap and you decided to open up a business, and you're now running your gym, you don't get to use that as the excuse. You should have just stayed a personal trainer. And that's why talking with DJ Murakami, he was great because it just was, no, I knew I didn't want to do the gym owner thing because I wanted to stay right here in this pocket because I didn't want to mess with all this other stuff. And for some people, you do. You want to have your own spot. You want to have your building. It's part of your plan that you built for yourself. Then you have to be doing something. It has to be cover and move. You have to have a plan. You have to be working on something. You have to have a goal that you then are reverse engineering and you're breaking out and you know what you're doing every day that isn't coaching. You're working on the business side of those things, whether it is building partnerships with people in your community, whether it is actively doing stuff with social media, whether you are working specifically on getting testimonials and mining information from your members so that you can be able to put it out there to get more clients for your coaches, whether you are actively hiring. Like if you're not actively trying to get part-timers, build up streams of opportunities for internships for the local colleges or have people come, like something has to be getting done on all these things. And if you sit back and it's been 14 weeks, 24 weeks, social media is the easiest thing for us to see because it's the easiest eye test for us to get an idea of how hard you're trying. But if you have no reviews on Google, you have nothing on social media, it would be no surprise when well, they're going to close or, oh, they're looking to sell. It's like, yeah, of course. They actually had been looking to sell for a year. They just didn't get honest with themselves until 3 months ago. So it's like it's these pieces where and this is, we called this out as well, which is COVID finally gave a lot of gym owners the excuse they needed to quit. And so don't be that. Don't let that be you. If this is something that you want to be able to do, kind of take something positive away, which is use this opportunity. Talk about how can you help people that are looking for help right now, that are ready to step forward, that are ready to get into the game and reinvest in themselves when it comes to fitness. How can you serve those people? What problem are they going to have? How can you help be that solution? And that's your first task. For the next 4 to 8 weeks, you need to have something.
We were on a call yesterday with one of the gym owners that we work with directly. If you want us to work directly with you on stuff, shoot us a message. We run like full action plans. We hold them accountable to it. Weekly calls, really like just focus on his business, right? So that is a service we offer. If you want in, shoot us a message either at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram or message us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. But I was talking to Gordon yesterday, and he was right in the new year, right? Absolutely. Yesterday was January 1st, and I was on a call with him, and he's like, we're rolling out all the stuff that we've already kind of had planned, right? So it's like social media rollout, some of the back end communication stuff for some new services he's offering that are at different times. So kind of different products, if you will, to a different market. Some people that he'll be able to retarget, from his email list. And so we're just kind of assembling all of this stuff, the last minute details on this thing. But then he immediately goes to, he's like, now he's pivoting, and he's like, now, so that clears me till March, and we've already got that set up. So then June, working on my camp stuff for this, which is how am I going to network to this, and what other opportunities do I have for this? And that's what happens when you fucking try, is because every one of these programs that he launches crushes not in little ways, crushes big time in money and in conversion for the short term and in conversions to the next product and the next products. His upsells out of those things are tremendous. Plus they're excellent assets to his community that grow his network every time. So like every year he's probably doubling his revenue from just these bonus little things that he's adding and developing that we never would have thought were opportunities. Other organizations coming to him say, will you do this just for us? Yeah, sure. So now this one product he would launch just to hope to try to sell to bunches of people off the street, that works. But now he's making the same amount of money doing a whole second one of those that's all guaranteed because these people are bringing all their own people to him. So his system continues to grow and grow and grow like this. Why? Because it's happening fucking on purpose, because you're trying. Okay. He's trying. And I'm telling you, if you're a gym owner and you're like, say like your summer program stuff, like, I don't understand. I get some kids in, I get some whatever, and I try to do my youth classes for the kid, whatever it is you're trying to launch that you do seasonally that you just half-ass. and you just kind of start getting involved. You make 1 or 2 social media posts like the day before or a week before or 2 weeks before, and then you just throw your hands in the air and see how it goes. They all kind of work, just like everything in your gym kind of, I guess, works if the lights are still on. We didn't lose our ass. We didn't do that great. But that's the difference. That's why Gordon's program's a fucking smash. Everybody else's smash them, right? Why? Because in January 1st, he's going, all right, you're right. So what can I take from the things we did last year? Let's make sure I'm out in front of some of these other things. Yeah, there's not a lot of things that you could do right now, but it's already been planned. Okay?
Correct.
And these processes are being refined as he continues to extract best practices from the other things he's doing, which is now he's adding to his marketing checklist some of these other outreaches, and maybe a week sooner trying to do some more in-person stuff, or to make sure he's getting out to some of these other locations and doing some shaking hands and kissing babies type shit. That's the type of stuff that when you do it on purpose, that's why you crush. Okay. You can accidentally find yourself into some of those situations. And because I think that, fitness, working out, and health, I think is a general good. I think that's why there's some pull to some of this stuff. That's why some people just get kind of lucky and things are kind of working, almost in spite of you, because people want to be healthy.
Yeah.
Right? They do. It's hard to sell sometimes, and it's tough to get people to really see it through. But in the end, people want to be healthy, and I can tell because I see a lot of absolutely low effort, fucking low empathy, uncaring gym owners that still like making okay living at it, while being terrible at the job, like absolutely terrible at the job. They would not, you couldn't be this bad at anything else that you do and make any money. You'd be fired from fucking everywhere. Okay. Understand that. So I think like I said, that idea that Gordon has, which is nothing is accidental. Nothing. So if trying to sell a camp in the summer, like perfect. Now you got 6 months. Let's make sure we pick the right weekend. Let's ask around a little bit, right? It's a great example. Last year there was some timing with when the schools got off. Like one school district was off at a different time and another one was off at a different time. So it almost kind of hamstrung the sales opportunities for one. So what are we going to do this year? 2 camps? We'll do 1 camp in a different week. Those are both possibilities, by the way. We may just sell one early till it's full and then do a second one for the other. There's plenty of opportunities to refine this from 1 year to the next, to the next, to the next. But it's not going to happen if you just go, oh, yeah, I got this thing in 2 weeks. Oh, fuck. Post. Okay, cool. And then be like, why doesn't everything work out for me? I can't get any kids to show up. Poor me. Sucks, dude. Be better than that. Got to be better than that.
Yeah. And it's playing the game where you can then you are preparing and you're not being reactive. And if you find that you're being reactive to everything that's happening in the business, to what's happening around you, whatever the situation is, you're always reacting and you always feel like you're a step behind, you got to change that. And just like that, like you've explained, having a game plan, having a roadmap, knowing what you're doing 3 months ago allows you to be able to prepare, allows you to be able to pivot, allows you to be able to have that success. And what's crazy is that from the outside, it looks like you're just making a couple of posts and you're having success. But there's so much work that's happened before that. And that's one of the biggest traps you can fall into when you look to just imitate, is that if you're just going to try and imitate what you're seeing, you don't know, for a gym that really is being successful, you don't realize all of the work that happened 90 plus days ago to get them prepared for those moments, for those things that they do, for the emails that they sent out that you didn't see, for the posts that they put out there, for everything they did in gym with the existing people, all the networking they did for anybody that could possibly help promote or drive traffic, is the difference between 2 people showed up to this thing.
Yep.
Versus, dude, we have 35 people that have signed up and are paying us and they're coming. The problem is if you don't really know what's going on, they look almost identical. Well, then why did we only get 2 versus why did we get 30? Oh, I know why. But it's all that work that's unseen, and you have to, and it only happens if you're prepared and you're being proactive ahead of time instead of constantly reactive to what's happening right now.
I was talking to an athlete the other night. I'll send you guys off with this one. To a guy's athlete, young potential, high potential athlete, very good base in a lot of things he's doing, looking at martial arts and jiu-jitsu and stuff. He's got a couple years of direct experience in that, but like fucking wrestling his entire life. Big guy. But he's like, got a bunch of weight to lose. Just needs to get the weight off. It's just, you're You can't just be like sloppy fat and try to be great. That's just not really your best path. Unless you're just some super elite best, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to point to like one person who's the exception. You're like, okay, are you this guy?
The Gypsy
But
King.
anyway, it was a reasonable conversation where I'm like, okay, well, let's just, he's like, well, whatever, skidded, you got sick, ate a bunch of shit all month. I'm like, okay, well, none of those things are related, right? You had a bad day, so you ate Domino's. Like, okay, I don't know, whatever. But one of the concepts that I kind of laid out for him is like, you really, really like are obsessed with this thing, right? The sport that you're trying to do, obsessed with it. This obsession needs to be the same thing. Like, they are not unrelated. And I think that's important that and I've been fortunate to meet many, many very high level athletes in my life. Some of the greatest in the world at the things that they do. None of them are kind of interested in the thing. None of them have this casual understanding of the things that they do. These are fucking masters. Okay. And not only masters at it, they are fucking obsessed and have been for a long time, like fully obsessed. It assumes every part of their life. Absolutely. So yeah, you can treat your gym business like, punching in at the old office, and you just go sit down and scroll on your desk and put in your time and leave, and someone will write you a check. And that's, yes, but that's absolutely not what we're looking for here. And that's not what the industry needs. We don't need more of that. The gym owners revolution that we speak of, the one you've heard of, comes from people who give a fuck and are obsessed with being good at it, obsessed with being great at getting new clients, like making sure that their clients have an incredible, over-delivered premium experience where they're just impressed, should be impressed from the moment they contact you until they're in doing business with you. They should be stoked to spend any amount of money that they can and just be grateful forever for the results that they got. Okay. And then they're going to continue to spend and continue to attract more people. Like, that's the fucking game here. You need to be obsessed if you want to actually be great. And if you want to earn a great amount of money and have a great and resilient business, you're going to have to be obsessed. You're going to have to get great at this. You're going to have to build systems that are great. You're going to have to build something that is great. You're not going to get great money out of a fucking mediocre business that delivers fucking subpar results. Sorry. You're going to get what you deserve. And a lot of people are getting more than they deserve at this point, which means in the end, it's all going to wash out. Trust me. So get better or you're going to get fucking underwater. Sorry. Thanks for listening. This has been your super sad New Year's everybody sucks except you speech. But we want you guys to be excellent. If you want to be excellent, shoot us a message at Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram. You want to work with us one-on-one, we got some stuff we can do. Right now, ideally, John, it'll be 8 or 12 weeks is kind of what we're looking for. If you want to get in, we'll spend 8, 12 weeks, like focus very specifically on very specific things within your business. This isn't some kumbaya shit. This is like we're moving on things that will work right now. Some problems that always have to be shored up, but these are all actionable stuff that we will be laying out for you based on your business and your needs. So if you want in, shoot us a message at the Gym Owners Podcast on Instagram or email us at thedudes@hackyourgym.com. That's it. Okay. Find me at Tyler F. and Stone on Instagram. John?
You can follow me on Instagram at jbanksfl.
All right. jbanksfl.